Okay, I think I'm finally there. But man, I got a mess on my hands here. Because, yeah, we're on my laptop now. So I had to switch computers. I'm not sure what the heck happened. So if you guys can let me know, can you hear me okay? Can you see me okay? All of that stuff. Let me trying to bring up the things I need. What a mess. What a complete and total mess. You could hear me the whole time. Yeah, like you click go live and it would just sit there and say like screw you and the software would crash. So I'm gonna have to figure out what's going on. All right, so the next thing I need is to figure out how to show my desktop here. Let's do a display capture. And display 2. Hey, look at that. There's my mouse. Okay, so, man, it really sucks that I had to switch computers. Because, like, I've been watching videos and reading crap about 3D printers all day long. And I had all these tabs open. I was ready to go, man. Now that's on another computer that was 4 reboots ago. Can I make a recommendation for a press with turrets? Yeah, I have the Redding T7 is great. I've used it, and the Lyman All American 8. I've tried it as well. Those are both good options. There's the Lee. Lee has several turret presses to choose from, so I'm a fan of turret presses. If you think that's going to work better with your workflow, then go for it. Absolutely go for it. How hard is it to run a printer? Doesn't seem that hard. Like the more I look into it, the more it does seem to be pretty straightforward. Ender 3 is $200 at Micro Center. Yeah, that's one of the first things I want to talk about. Because let me see if I can. I had like what I had. I always use Firefox. I hate Firefox. It's freaking garbage. I need to switch over to Chrome or something. But I had like a new installation of Chrome, and I wasn't logged into YouTube, so I was just watching 3D printer videos, so it was recommending me like nothing but 3D printer stuff, and it was pretty cool. I guess maybe if I could do an incognito window here. Drag this over there. Make my thing open. Nope. Okay. I need to resize my window. Stand by, folks. It's a work in progress we got going on here. There we go. Drag you down there. There we are. Okay. So, yeah. One of the main sites I had open was Micro Center. And I've got a couple of them that I can drive to in Ohio. There may even be one in Kentucky. No, there's not. But yeah, there's a couple of them in Ohio I can go to. Columbus or the Sharonville or something. And I was looking earlier. All of the, I think it's under computers and 3D printing. Yeah. So yeah, they've got the Ender 3 V2 for $259, and they're in stock at both of the stores I could drive to. So that one definitely is probably the top of the list, but the other one that's also right there with it is this guy right here, the Ender 3 S1, which is $399. So, and basically, so the Ender 3 V2 here for $260. Most people immediately come right down here and buy this Creality BL Touch Auto Bed Leveling Kit. So that's another $50. So our V2's at $310 and climbing. And if we go ahead and go to $399, then you get a whole bunch of features that you're probably going to upgrade on other printers as well. That's kind of my thoughts right now. Like I saw some people had mentioned several other printers, and man, I had all these websites brought up and everything. It was going to be wonderful, but my computer screwed up, and we're kind of screwed right now. So trying to catch up a little bit. Absolutely love yours. Let's see, which one were you talking about? Probably. That's the problem with this stupid laptop. It's going to be hard for me to follow chat. I already have enough problems following chat, but going incognito, didn't know 3D printers were that type of content. Well, that's maybe something I should bring up here, because we need to be clear. This ain't Twitch. I got to be careful about what we're talking about, right? I want this printer, and the only thing I'm going to show is making gadgets for reloading. So as far as I know, any gun manufacturing or even gun accessories, anything related with guns is no-no. I don't even think we're allowed to talk about it. So we need to stay on topic. We need to stay with reloading stuff, because even if I don't know, every video's got a bunch of comments about guys talking about the perfect platform size to make whatever is prohibited to talk about around here, then that's going to bring scrutiny on the channel and stuff that I don't really want. If I get kicked off this place, I want to get kicked off for reloading. I want it to be because they don't allow reloading anymore, not because people were in my orbit talking about things that are restricted on the platform that I don't even care about. I really sincerely just don't really care about. I got enough guns and accessories already. I don't need to make any more. So yeah, see Andrew there saying the S1's the right choice. It does seem to be a pretty good choice. So Micro Center here for $399. I think there was somewhere I found them for $349. I wish I had all those wonderful tabs I had open ready to go. Which that's the other. I got to get my chat. Yeah, this is what I was trying. Yeah, $399 at Micro Center. In stock, like a bunch of them in stock. And I could just drive and get it. Some folks brought up the Prusa or the Prusa. That's about a $750 kit, it looks like. There's a mini, but it's like a tiny little guy. I guess on the size side, I'd like to. So like the Ender 3s or the S1, I think it's a little bit taller than the others, but as far as the main platform goes, it's like 8.5 inches or so, something in that neighborhood. So like that would be enough. Is that about the right size? Have I got it right in my mind? Because that seems reasonable. I know some folks were talking about liking this one up here, which I should show you the screen instead of, yeah, here we go, the CR6, which we can go to the Creality website here in a minute and look at this guy. It's also self-leveling and stuff, and I guess there was is it a glass bed? I'm not sure if this has that, or I'm not sure if this has all of the features we're talking about with the S1. And the other cool thing is the S1 just came out, like November or December, I think. So that's pretty good summary of where my head's at. Just kind of looking through some comments here. Matt has the Ender 3 and have printed tons of stuff for your reloading setup. 3 of your coworkers have the same. So is that the Ender 3, the Ender 3 Pro? I was trying to get the kind of the order of these things, the chronological order of these things in my mind. So it was the original V3, and then there was a V3 Pro, and now the Yeah, I'm sorry. So there was the original Ender 3, the Ender 3 Pro, and now there's the Ender 3 version 2, but there's no Ender 3 version 2 Pro, I guess. And I did see that the S1 is like right now. I don't think there's a Pro version out, but I think there's one coming because the what do they call the little extruder nozzle thingy on the S1? There's a part of it that's plastic, but there's a Pro head on their website that shows a metal version of it or whatever, and looks like it might be on the soon to be released S1 Pro, maybe. Spike has the S1, or Spike says to get the S1, you have the V2 and want to see the difference. Okay, yeah, there's a. Like, I'm not a complete and total moron, so like I don't mind a kit or a difficult setup or something. And I was watching the videos on the leveling process. It doesn't look particularly fun, but you know it's not like I'm such a bumbling idiot I couldn't figure it out. So yeah. Jesse got the Ender 5 Plus. It's huge and rigid, but not a lot of people have them. Get some Ender 3 variety because everyone uses it and there's lots of help. That's another, like, that's a big deal. Seems to be a thriving aftermarket and a million users and lots of good stuff. And, you know, it seems to be a pretty strong modification community, I guess. And is that kind of maybe where it seems like all of their new versions are just coming out with official versions of stuff everybody's already doing on their own anyway. It seems like every time I look at one, it's like, well, this one has XYZ features that you used to have to buy as an upgrade for the last. So it seems like buying the most recent product to come out, or one of them, or a product that's still fresh on the market, it's negating a lot of those upgrades you might immediately want to just run out and grab. You have enough technical aggravation in your life, can't see adding to your issues getting a 3D printer. It, like, just from the times in the past I've looked at it, which I've been aware of it all along, and I guess maybe loosely kept track of what's going on, but man, it seems to be easier than ever. And yeah, not a very steep learning curve whatsoever. Most of it is open source. Yeah, a lot of people were touting that as a reason to go with the Prusa, I guess, or I forget how the hell you say it, but the more expensive ones, I guess all of it's they've been pretty open in the community with their stuff, and yeah. Well, like to the chat, what software am I using? None, just web browser. Looking through some stuff, but if you're talking about for 3D printing, I did finally go to crap. I already forgot the name of the place. The little standby. This computer issue's just totally thrown me off, man. Totally thrown me off. Yeah, Tinkercad. That was it. Good grief. So I set up a Tinkercad account today and was playing around with that a little bit. Somebody had mentioned it in the comments. Thank you very much, by the way. Thanks to all of you that gave me some things to think about today. But it seems like, yeah, this Tinkercad is good for like super basic introduction to CAD stuff before you go any farther. And I know a lot of people mentioned slicing software. I'm assuming that's taking your design and trying to map out where the actual print is going to happen. And Seems to be a couple of those out there. So use Cura for a slicer. I think I heard of that one. Yeah, Peanuts. That's says he got into 3D printing before he got into reloading, and reloading at a high precision is kind of similar in that you tune the machine to the ammo to work well together. And yeah, machine slash rifle and ammo slash filament. Turbo says Amazon is a place to buy. It got a little freaking sketchy over on Amazon. I'll be honest with you. Like there's multiple sellers, and I think Creality was out of stock, but then there was some other, like I wasn't sure what the heck was going on there. But the prices were the same, right? Are the prices on these pretty fixed for the most part? Well, I mean, some folks were talking about, again, apparently Micro Center had $100 off coupon, and that got you into the original. Which if I probably should show you guys my screen if I can manage to pull my head out of my butt. But yeah, there's the original. Hang on, let's just look at the printers. Taking me so long to find it, I'm forgetting. Oh yeah. The Ender 3 Pro is $199, and they had $100 off coupon apparently over the holidays, and a bunch of people got them for $100. That'd be pretty sweet. Then you don't mind buying a couple upgrades. What do I plan to make or print though? All sorts of stuff. I did a whole video full of cool stuff I had bought on Etsy, and just did yesterday's video. This cool case feeder for the Lee app, and the designer stopped by the comments section. I just saw it like 15 minutes before I was going live. I didn't even have a chance to reply to him, but yeah, I don't know. It's the way the hobby's going, man. Like it is absolutely the way the hobby's going, and I think it's going to be extremely useful to be able to print my own stuff. What's up, Monster Mess? Good to see you, man. Glad you could make it. Look up Chep videos on YouTube. Is that a printer? Oh, okay. That's just a person on YouTube. Okay, yeah. There's 850 billion videos on YouTube. So nice to have a recommendation there, I guess. Cura and Prusa Slicer are the most common. Gotcha. FreeCAD is more powerful than Tinkercad. That's good to hear. Yeah, it seems like this Tinkercad's made for like, elementary school students, and that's perfect for me. That'll get me started, and then we'll move on from there. All the Ender stuff is kind of swappable from 3 to 5 and most other printers. You'll be fine with any of them. Just bolt the shit to other shit and fiddle around mechanically. Software and design is pain. The full Cura, not whatever skinned version Creality has. Yeah, I think the. Yeah, okay. I'll keep that in mind. Anybody want to make the case that I should spend more than, what was that, $3.99? Where'd it go? So $3.99. It seems like I found it somewhere for $3.49. But yeah, if there are any Prusa fans out there, then now's the time to make your case. It seems like, just kind of looking at the comments, I get a feeling like probably a lot of Dylan ownership and Prusa ownership overlap. I get that feeling. What I have for dinner tonight? Oh, a little bit of, a little bit of pasta. Buy a couple spools of PLA minimum. Yeah, I was looking at that 1 kilogram spools here for about $19. I guess that's the Inland. I don't know. I can't remember if that's Micro Center's house brand or. I have seen a lot of people mention that filament definitely matters, and buying the right filament, well, even beyond just the different types, but even with PLA, they're not all built the same. Prusa Mark III or MK3 skip the hassle of tinkering. Well, I could get two of them. I could get two two Ender 3s for what I would pay for a Prusa. And it looks like right now, I was looking on their website, looks like the lead times are like 4+ months or. And I think the Mini Plus has just got too small of a bed on it. Yeah, so the kit, which is some assembly required, is $750 with a 5 to 6 week lead time right now. That's a lot to. You can't even see my screen. There it is. There's the Prusa i3 MK3S Plus. $750 with a 5 to 6 week lead time right now. The S1 has the features people want from the Prusa. Yeah, and I think it seems like the biggest common thing I was seeing was the what do you call it, the extruder head, the move around heady melty part was drastically upgraded. Let me pull up their site. Yeah, they're calling it the Sprite Direct Extruder. It's got the CR Touch Auto leveling, dual X-axis synchronization, which I guess it just means it's got support on the X-axis on both sides. Let's see if I can. No zoom. Come on, give me. Been down this road. Trust you. The love tinkering, but the Ender 3 is a pain. Was that like an Ender 3, an Ender 3 Pro, an Ender 3 V2, or an Ender 3 S1? Because it seems like, yeah, I could do with more specifics. Anything more specific? Don't accidentally buy PETG thinking it's PLA. Is that the soft stuff, flexible stuff? There is a reason other brands are more expensive. They have great support if you have a problem. I bought a Prusa and I don't have to drink around with it. Dink around with it. Yeah. Makes a lot of sense. What's up there, Timothy? Get some glue sticks for the bed. Really helps keeping your print from lifting up on you. The lead time has been the same for years. They are extremely popular. You have 5 Ender 3 Pros. They all sit half broken, and your Keedy X Plus and Prusas pump out your target cams. Matches the color, the Lyman color theme. Yeah. Ender 5 Pro, if I can afford it. Yeah. So is it just the is it just the size of the print bed deal? The learning curve is so frustrating. Glad I went Prusa. Like what learning curve? I'm seeing, so there's calibration. There's, yeah. I guess maybe I'm just not knowing what's a bad print look like. What are the frustrations we're looking at? What's the specific things? It's like, you know, I don't know. It reminds me so much of everything sucks. Just get a Dylan. Like, what do you got anything more specific than that? Like, Jay Luther must be from the Stone Age. I'm only 55. 3D printer, really? I still cast bullets by hand. Well, brother, here's the deal. The hobby's going to leave you behind. It is. Because listen, the same people that love to cast bullets are the exact same group of people that love to dink around and make 3D printed crap for their stuff. You know, nobody's freaking going to be making a 3D printed case feeder for their zero press. You know, like, so yeah, the same spirit and energy that goes into bullet casting and all of the DIY side of this hobby, this is where it's going, and that's exactly where I'm at right now, and that's why, I feel like I need one to even follow the hobby or where it's going. So that's just kind of the way I'm feeling about it. Hey, Monster Mess, thanks, brother. Appreciate that. 3D printer fun. Can't wait to see you figure that out. Buddy has a Prusa i3, you believe. What screws people over the most is leveling the bed. That is it. That does seem to be the most common complaint, I think. And yeah. Ender 5 is more stable on the gantry due to the extra supports. Let me see if I. Okay, I got you. So that's like, oh, you had said the Ender 5 Pro, hadn't you? Let me switch my screen back. Sorry about that. Having some technical problems tonight, folks. Trying to do what I can here. But aren't there, let's see. Okay. Why is this garbage website not allowing me to... There we go. Maybe that's better. I might have to see that one in action. What's the price on this guy? Under 5 plus, $579. Is it? Somebody or a couple people in the comments had mentioned the CR6 being what they had and they liked, but I don't know if that seems like a lot has been replaced by the S1 or yeah, it seems like the S1 addresses a lot of the old criticisms. Spend hundreds more on upgrading an Ender 3 just to print close to a QIDI X Plus or Prusa Mark III. My Ender is like casting book lists versus buying bullets. Takes a lot of work to get things right. Lots of botched prints, yeah. Bad leveling and temperature are the biggest frustration. Been printing for years. Yeah, and I guess the... There was one video in particular that was pretty good. Let me see if I can find it. That had the print head pulled apart. It might have been this dude here. Good grief. Alright, I can't hear. And you guys are probably getting nothing. Well, I'll tell you what, I honestly don't even really need audio. Let me see where we're at. Yeah, that's pretty close. Let's see if we can find where he had pulled apart the... There it is. Maybe.
Great. Very compact and well designed. But it does seem that the heat break area has a plastic tube in it. This would confirm that it's not all metal and why it can't reach any higher than 260 degrees. I'm not quite sure why Creality didn't go all the way and have this be an all-metal hot end as well, but I'm not going to really complain too much since this extruder is an amazing upgrade. Actually, when looking at Creality's website, they do have a Sprite Extruder Pro, which is an all-metal version for this for high-temp printing. It would be nice if this was included on this printer, but we're talking about the baseline machine here. I am hoping that Creality starts including that extruder setup on future machines. This extruder and hot end are all connected via a breakout board, which is huge for both cable management and for easy swapping. The cable management on this is perfect since you just connect a thick ribbon-like cable from the base of the printer without any worry of individual cables. Along with these amazing advancements over the Ender 3 V2, this machine also has a filament runout sensor, power resume function, belt tensioning knobs, storage space in the base, and a 32-bit silent board just like that original Ender 3 V2. The LCD screen has been tweaked a bit and now has a timeout where it dims after 5 minutes of inactivity. All of these upgrades and it costs...
Huh. My mouse is being dumb. Man, good grief. The universe is working against me today here, folks. Ignore you and research on 3D printers channels. What? Do you have a question? How exactly does the bed moving vertically make more issues than the whole print head moving up and down? I don't know. You asking me? I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. Hey, MSB, thanks very much, brother. Appreciate that. Likely never have a 3D printer, but know someone who has one. Good enough. Contribute to yours, though. 64 and enjoy indoor plumbing. Thank you very much. Ed says his Ender 3 Pro works very well. Did upgrade the bed to a glass bed. The auto bed leveling is not necessary. If you don't move the printer around, you won't have to re-level the bed. Yeah, that's another thing I meant to mention is I can set up a totally permanent place. I can build a sturdy table to sit it on. So that's one thing I hadn't really gotten a completely clear, or hadn't seen anybody mention it before, is how often you have to, and do you level before every print, or is it a one-time thing? If it's a one-time thing, then not a big deal. Quest for the Perfect Load wants me to get the CR10. Let me pull out. That's in CR series. Okay, CR10 Smart Pro. Intelligent control, enjoyable printing, CR10 Smart Pro 3D printer with full metal dual gear direct extruder. AI cloud control inspires your creativity. I guess maybe that's the first thing I just really haven't figured out is what's the difference like in their series, the Ender series, the CR series, and the CP series. Like in the most generic terms. Ender 5 Core XY, regular is base. Pro is glass bed with silent steppers, plus is Pro but with bigger build area. Okay. I don't have any plans to do exotic filaments, no. Just the standard stuff is fine. It seemed like that S1, the temperature wasn't too bad, even with that plastic in the head part, I guess. Okay, the CR10 series is basically a larger version of the Ender 3 series. Resin printers are the way to go. No burnt plastic. I haven't even looked over at those. What do they got going on? Those are fun looking. Decide if you want a Bowden style extruder or direct extruder. There are advantages to each. Seems like, seems like everything's direct. I think everything I was looking at was direct extruded. Or at least the S1, that fancy new head they've got or whatever that they put on it is supposed to be a direct extruder. With what you're talking about, anything that goes up to 250, 260 hot end and 100 bed temp is golden. Yeah, I'm not sure if the hot end will go that hot, the factory hot end on the S1. Seems like 230 is. I don't know. I just had that. See if I can hear that again.
Machine, and it's as if they heard all of my complaints about their other machines they make on the market today. This extruder has a 3.5 to 1 gear ratio, dual drive gears, and a very small gap between the heat break and the extruder itself. This means you should be able to print flexible materials fast and extremely precise, similar to that of a Hemera. It also has a light pancake stepper motor, meaning it should be able to move and accelerate at higher speeds than a similar setup with a heavy stepper motor, since this machine is now direct rather than Bowden. Now, it advertises a max printing temperature of 260 degrees, which leads me to believe the hot end is not all metal.
Okay, yeah, 260. Resin printers are too much of a hassle to clean up the chemicals. Oh yeah, okay. I'll take a nice little roll of nice clean plastic. Don't need to be mixing no resins up in here. Hey Brad, thanks very much, man. Been watching the channel for years. Big fan of what you're doing. Here to start to a 30-06 fun. Appreciate that very much. To get the perfect bed height, just use a piece of paper as a feeler. Yeah, that seems to be that's by the instructions, right? I mean, everybody I was seeing set one up seemed to use that piece of paper as a reference. Only after you figure the settings you need, like correct motherboard name, Z office or MB name. I don't know if that means. Honestly, just get an Ender 3 V2 and put a BL Touch or an Easy ABL. So the BL Touch is the leveling thing, right? Yeah, the BL Touch. So that would be at these prices 260 plus 50. So I'm at 310 and I could just spend 399 and just go with the S1, which gives me the other stuff other than just the leveling, like the new direct extruder and magnet build surface and all this other crap they're talking about on this S1. No, not paper. Use a feeler gauge to set your nozzle clearance. I didn't see anybody cracking out any feeler gauges. Does the S1 have bed leveling? Yes. It's the bed size of the S1. I think it's the same as the V2, but it's a little bit taller, I believe. There we go, 220 by 220 by 270. You have to firmware upgrade enders. When you do that, there's a whole process to recalibrate the correct flow of the extruder. Is that not the sort of thing you have to constantly calibrate? Like with different, like here's my new spool of plastic, better recalibrate my flow? Or I'm not the least bit worried about a firmware upgrade. I mean, yeah, yeah, I don't know. It's just a big jump in price from 400 to 800, and plus a 2 month. What was it, a 6 week? So I'd go the kit because I'm poor, and lead time 5 to 6 weeks. So I'm spending 750, and it comes. There it is, $50 shipping. So I'm $800. So I need to be able to. Yeah, I don't know. I'm having a hard time getting to there. Like it's never ever going to print ever possibly anything decent. Well, like I see stuff that's pretty cool, and I watch videos and guys doing stuff, and I guess it's junk, don't buy it. I need something more than that, right? In order to justify doubling my cost. Hey, Thorzax, thanks, man. Chicken feed fund. Down to eating hot dogs. No, I'm good. Appreciate that. Have I decided against Prusa? Probably, but no. I mean, if somebody could really give me something real, like here, man, watch this video. He shows that what a piece of shit that one is, and how awesome that one is, and this is something you're absolutely going to run into, and just vague things about needing to set up difficulty. Like it's half price, of course. Maybe. Did I ever frame that 308 imprint on my wall? No, and I need to cut it out. I meant to. I meant to do that. I was going to hang it back here somewhere. I'm going to do that. Then I'll just have to patch the hole. At some point in my life, that's in an area where I need to tear out the drywall and replace it. So I was kind of just waiting on that, but that probably won't be anytime soon. They have constant firmware upgrades to fix issues. When you purchase an ender, it will come with old firmware with bugs. Gotcha. Ed says he's never had to recalibrate his flow in 2 years. Will I also order a laser? I don't know what that means. $800 is a lot for something you might use a dozen times. Yeah, like I have absolutely no plans whatsoever to put this thing into production or anything. It's just for printing out stuff I might need, playing around with weird designs or something that might occur to me. There's a huge reason why they cost that much. Out of the box, they work. The others are a crapshoot. Oh, and that's another thing about the Uh, the S1. It apparently basically comes fully assembled, which I guess wasn't always the case with some of the earlier ones. I can see where he's pulling it out of the package. It doesn't seem like there's a...
Along with a different looking base and overall frame, here are just some of the things upgraded from the standard Ender 3 V2. First of all, it has dual lead screws and dual Z motors, connected to each other via a belt. This is a major upgrade since having a single lead screw can really lead to quality loss over time on the machine. Next up is that it comes stock with their CR Touch bed leveling, which works the same as a BL Touch for anyone familiar to it. This is also huge for anyone new to 3D printing, since getting that bed level can be one of the most annoying things for first-time makers. The base takes full-sized SD cards rather than micro.
Yeah, never mind. That definitely does have a little bit of setup. Nothing quite like the... I did watch somebody put together the Prusa kit. That didn't seem terrible either. So I'm definitely not afraid of a kit or a little bit of assembly. But I thought I had remembered this thing mainly coming put together. Don't do the kit for your first printer? Nah, I'm not afraid of a kit. I think it's probably still the case where if you're afraid of a kit, you're probably going to be in trouble pretty soon. Like, they all need some assembly. Definitely not going to pay, like, because the, like the, where'd it go? I think it was a $250 difference. Yeah, I was looking, somebody had mentioned the Mini. I looked at the Mini, and it's currently got a freaking 14 to 16 week wait time. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, the Mini kit has a lead time of 14 to 16 weeks. And the semi-assembled one is 400 and has a 4-week lead time. That might not be too bad, but either that is a tiny bolt or that is a tiny printer. Like, what's the bed size difference on this guy? There it is. Build volume featuring 7 by 7 by 7. So 18 by 18 by 18. And let's see, what was the Ender? I think it was 2. Yes, that'd be 22, 22, 27. That's a pretty significant difference, I would think. Which I guess that would come into play for, I'm saying, somebody had mentioned they had printed out an entire case feeder assembly for something. James likes his Prusa Mini. Had it a couple years. Russell likes his Ender. If it doesn't have sharks with frickin' laser beams, what does it matter? Hey, Chad, I really appreciate that, man. Says no idea what you should get, but get us a nice one. I appreciate that. Yep, like my PID controller is way more complex than setting up a printer. Yeah, there you go. If I can manage to put together a PID and not burn down my house, I can manage to assemble and calibrate. And plus, like, just from my work, all these, like, I've worked with precision measurement equipment and constantly calibrating crap, and that honestly, I'm the sort of idiot who'd want to calibrate more than necessary anyway. Maybe. Not afraid of assembly, huh? Took 10 years to screw bench to the wall. You shut up. I don't want to hear from you. That's true. Well, it kind of goes back to, like I was just mentioning, how I need to, over there, I still need to rip out some drywall and do some stuff. It was always like, I'm going to get around to that soon. No reason to make this permanent. That was kind of what I ended up doing whenever I moved the bench, and it's permanent now. I'm living in a. It's nicer than a lot of people's partially finished basements, you know. It's not too bad. One of these days I'll give you all a tour up here, because I basically just carved out the entire upstairs here for reloading and gun stuff. Helps to keep those things separated. Take Eagle Eye shooting up on his offer. Save yourself the ball ache. What's his offer? Check out the Prusa Mini for the parts you're wanting to print. It'll have the room. Price is $360. Also, I'll send you one of my Ender 3 Pros. Might be able to do something like that. Let me think about it. I guess for an Ender 3 Pro, like, what would I immediately need? I don't want to. So, like, I know if I know an Ender 3 Pro is going to have. It definitely needs a different extruder. It definitely needs that glass bed. It definitely needs that XYZ sort of stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Check out This Old Tony on the Prusa. Okay. I'll search him up here real quick. Why not? Exactly. It's the gun reloading attic. To be honest, yeah, WR mentions his Prusa kit took like nine or 10 hours, taking your time after the kids went to bed over a few nights. Aside from saving a little cash, I think putting the kit together is beneficial for familiarity. Exactly. Yeah, knowing how everything goes and the way they're supposed to slide and all of that sort of stuff. I could see that being very helpful. The freaking lead time on them kind of sucks. Kyle printed a bullet feeder on your Ender 3 V2. Mr. Booston, you look at 3D printers and walk away, too complicated for you? Metal extruder, all metal hot end, upgraded thermistor, anti-backlash nut, BL touch, and you're good to go on an Ender 3 V2. Already has a glass bit. Hey, John, thanks very much. Appreciate that very much. Let's see. Let's check out this old Tony, see what he's got to say. So he got freaking playlists. 3D printing playlist, something. Guess I could show you guys my screen. There we go. Okay, let's try searching. 2 S's, 1 S, 1 S.
This is my channel now. Buy the kit, they said. Build it yourself. It's much more rewarding. I probably shouldn't have dumped the whole box out at once. Deep breath. This can't be that bad. Assembly instructions like a college. All right, it comes with instructions. Table of contents is like 8 pages long.
Yeah, sorry, I'm an idiot. I'd muted there for a second.
All right. In situations like this, it's important to remember that even the longest journeys begin with the first step.
The first time I saw one of these, just looking at that freaking manual or instruction assembly manual is gigantic.
Step number 1, do not eat all the gummy bears. Looks like this thing comes with tools. That's pretty cool, I guess. Needle nose pliers, Phillips screwdriver. It's a pretty big tip on that. Some Allen wrenches. You'd think the kind of person inclined to buy a 3D printer, let alone... But let's see what happens. Building this on a thick aluminum plate, it's not super flat, but it's flatter than my bench. Now you just put...
Oh, hey, Big E, appreciate that, man. You were cheated. It didn't let you add a message? Remember, buy once, cry once. Well, my version of buy once, cry once is currently buying the Ender 3 S1 instead of the regular Ender 3 V2. But there's a lot of people trying to talk me into one of these fancy ones that you got to wait 2 months to get and then put it together over the course of 30 or 40 evenings.
Put your lips together and... Took that about half an hour to print. 28 minutes, 38 minutes. I could have driven out and bought one in that. It is pretty cool. It was able to close the top without support material inside. Like keep it hollow and close the open span on the top side. I didn't give it much thought, but I was expecting it to print in maybe 2 pieces or grow a peg or something through the center. Y-axis. I'm using just a bit of Vibratite on all the fasteners. Doesn't take much. For some bearings. A friend of mine who's smarter than I...
I'm not saying I don't appreciate the recommendation of this video, but this is probably one I'm going to need to sit down and watch through. It's thorough. Which, you know, I'm all about. Pandemic Precision says, this old Tony's probably the second best hand channel behind you and Ave. Appreciate that.
Force during the tightening.
I should look at the Elegoo Neptune 2S. There was another one. Let's see here. There was another one somebody had mentioned in the comments of the video yesterday. It actually looked like the Creality with that goofy... maybe... This is a CR series. It's got like a weird handle hanging off the side of it or something. Yeah, what are those weird handles? But it was a very specifically weird looking one. It looked like kind of a knockoff situation. Are knockoffs much of a thing? Elegoo Neptune 2S. You built your Ender 3 V2 in like 2 hours. Yeah, I was talking about the Prusa, whatever. They've got a pretty involved installation. Or assembly, I guess. Just think of the video content. Okay, folks, we're here at evening 37 of the 3D printer assembly. Everybody turn to page 24. Oh, that's a spool handle. That makes sense. Yeah, I guess I was used to seeing them on top usually. What am I going to print with that thing? Stuff just like yesterday's video. All right, I'll tell you what I could do. Let's see. Create a poll. All right, we're gonna do a poll. There. Okay. So let's see. Poll question. Let's think here. What's a good one? No, I don't like that. All right. Consider the Prusa, yes or no? That's it. Because, you know, yeah, like I said, it's $750. That's really all it comes down to. It's obviously the best choice. It's obviously the smarter choice. But it's $750. Zeb says, go all out. Hey, Whiskey asks, how do I clean my rifles for precision? Clean every X number of rounds or just whenever? I just clean whenever. I feel like, yeah, I don't really have any very strict cleaning procedures. I should, like interval or whatever. Clean every 50, clean every 100, clean every whatever. But I don't. I usually just clean when I start feeling guilty about how long it's been since the last time. FCMA mentions that at its price point, the Neptune 2S is loaded with tons of features. It isn't a top-end printer, but it's a great FDM printer for beginners. Which I guess I could... Let's look through the... Double gear metal extruder is equipped with a spring elasticity adjustment design. I guess what I'm trying to do here as I'm reading through this is trying to remember all of the things that, like, it's hard for me to spot what it doesn't have whenever I'm still trying to remember what it needs to, you know, like what I want it to have or what it does have, or trying to wrap my head around what it does have. I guess what I'm not seeing here is anything about leveling. So what would its leveling... Yeah, the word level doesn't even come up on the page here. Or maybe, or is all this leveling garbage just an Ender thing? I can't imagine it is, right? Just thinking through what's actually happening. Pretty much has to happen all the time, right? See, where's our poll? Poll. Consider the Prusa. 47% say yes, 53% say no. That's a little bit surprising. I expected you guys to say yes. I expected expected you guys to be more aggressive with your pushing me toward the more expensive option. That's still a lot of people saying yes, though, right? I mean, all right, next poll. Assuming we go Creality, which Creality? Option 1 would be the... Which, let me go ahead and pull this up real quick. With the Ender series, so the S1, the more expensive one, and the V2. I guess I probably should go. I've looked at them in too many places, and I've kind of memorized their location in the different lineups. And oh, there we go. That's the one I was with the peculiar looking spool handle thingy, the CR6. I guess I saw another printer that looked exactly like a CR6. It looked like basically a knockoff. But okay, so which Creality? So first option would be the S1, the new one. The second would be the Ender 3 V2. And then the third option is something else. So which Creality? S1. Let's see. What's this thing actually called? Ender 3 S1, Ender 3 V2, or something else. So that's going out right now. Just think about all the things you've spent $750 on. Yeah. The fat gears under the bed is their leveling, which is needed for most printers anyways. Auto leveling will take out the extra little bit. Okay, so back to the Neptune there for a second. So like the auto leveling, or no, that auto leveling kit was, the BL is from Creality, right? So would the Neptune have its own auto leveling kit, or would the auto leveling kit from Creality work on that one or something? But I mean, it's already kind of, what was the price was 400, I think, on 250. I need to pay more attention. 250 plus a $50 upgrade, if it ends up being a better setup, might not be a bad choice. Most are Ender clones. Okay. Prusa, so your video can be about printing cool reloading kit instead of trying to get your printer to work. Yeah, and I'm not going to be making, other than like a basic setup, here we go. This is not going to be a common thing that I'm going to be talking about. It'll be, I just 3D printed this gadget we're going to use today. Go watch my video I did 15 years ago when I bought the printer, sort of thing. It's not going to be a running theme, I don't think, other than, yeah, just the basics. Paul said no, he's cheap. This thing might get put away after 2 weeks. Yeah, it's always possible. Probably not very probable, but it's good advice, right? I give that advice all the time to people when it comes to reloading. Like, get a Breachlock Challenger kit. See if you like reloading. You know, don't spend $1 trillion getting started. $55% never touched a printer. Can we talk about reloading next week? Yes, we are talking about reloading. Adam says the 5 Pro. It's not the price, it's after sales support. Prussia give in American, not relying on the internet. Michelle says if you go Creality, be prepared to spend as much on upgrades as you spend on the printer. Yeah, I don't know if you were around earlier, but they've got a new one right now that isn't very long in the tooth called the S1 that's got quite a few of the standard upgrades, and it looks like for the most part right now that would be one that incorporates most of the common upgrades and shouldn't need too much. But if I get a standard V2, then you're definitely right. But I'm thinking the S1 might kind of cure exactly what you're saying there of just needing to immediately order your upgrades at the same time you're ordering your shiny new printer, which seems pretty dumb. The V-Rich mentioned he has 3 running right now, but I can't. Oh, it's wanting to print for me? Yeah. Ender can be resold for 50 to 75% of what you spent. Off-brand stuff, 0 resale value. That's a good point, I guess. Oh, somebody had given me a site where they sell like excellent refurbs. It was in the comments. I have to go back and look, but like the place looked like it had a good. Yeah, it had a good history of putting out good stuff and offering good prices and whatnot. I can buy the Prusa and then buy all Dylan and snub all the Creality and Lee users. That's what I'm thinking. It's got that vibe for me. It just kind of does a little bit, you know? S1 looks nicer than the V2. Yeah, like man, the styling is quite attractive. My browser usage not quite as attractive. There we go. It's pretty good looking. Like the screen is nice. Looks like it's easy to see and read and all that stuff. Okay, now that yeah, so this freaking the Elegoo Neptune 2S. Looks awful similar. Because it's like somebody had mentioned, most of them are Ender knockoffs of one sort or another. Refurbished stuff seems like more problems. Yeah, and the other, like I used to buy refurbished computers at Micro Center all the time. Um, and I was noticing on some of these, sometimes they have open box deals. And I remember seeing somewhere, one of the stores had some open boxes. Just make sure to buy it nice or buy it twice. Spike printed his case feeder for the Hornady AP for half the price Hornady wanted for one, and that included the printer. I mean, it's really getting to that point, right? If you just add up the crap I bought on Etsy, it was probably enough to buy the printer. Okay, maybe not quite that much, but that old return on investment is coming pretty quick with these days, it seems like. Danny's saying the Ender 5 for that 400 by 400 by 400. I probably should have looked. Let's see, what is it? All right, 43% are saying the Ender 3 S1, 38% are saying the V2, and 19% are saying something else. Those are pretty tight numbers between the S1 and the V2. All right, I guess I could end the poll here. Am I really planning on printing replacement Annealy's wheels for when I melt some? Got the fix. Yeah. You, I saw your video about those protector thingies. Kind of looks like fender washers on the end of the wheels. You're that guy, right? Pretty sure you're that guy. Thanks very much, Big E. Appreciate that, by the way. Probably a lot like reloading kits, lots of extras you will still need to buy. Well, I'll tell you what, while we're on that subject, let's see, where'd it go? Yeah, the Micro Center page there. So like this Inland 1.7 millimeter black PLA plus 3D printer filament. Like that black, like get a little bit of black, get a little bit of gray. Looks like they had some white down here somewhere, I think. How many spools is a reasonable amount of filament to buy with your printer? Like 1 or 2 spools, or like 12? I have no reference here, frame of reference here. Who's got the best service after the sale? I almost exclusively never ever use service from anybody ever, so I don't know. And I'm never ever picking up a phone to call, usually, unless it's a return or something that I absolutely feel like I have to make. So seems like the Creality stuff's got pretty big support on the internet, you know, just a huge, gigantic community doing all sorts of crazy stuff and fixing problems. Filament couple rolls. Is it true that Hornady might start manufacturing their own primers? Hadn't heard that one. That's pretty cool. If it's true, I can't imagine why they would. Like, seems like a weird business to get into. Poll should have been a 3 versus a 5. 2 supports versus 4 supports. Okay, well then we'll just run us another poll. Let's see. So the all right. The poll is just Creality. 3 or 5. Pick your number. If I can find my mouse. There it goes. Ender 5 or CR10. Riley got his Ender 3 V2 used on OfferUp for like 170 shipped. Hasbro says he'll send me some of his Magic Annealy's flame retardant wheels. I appreciate that. I'll let me look into it. I'll get back to you on that. Thank you very much for the offer. Three to 5 rolls of filament. Number 40 fan says couple rolls. Gotta get that Dylan Blue filament. 2 to 5, 5. Biggie says he has no idea on printers, can only offer generic advice, like get nice stuff. I agree with you in principle. I guess here's the thing. Like let's imagine a world where this is great. I get a printer and it's awesome and I'm printing stuff and I don't know, maybe I come up with something and I want to, offer them for sale or something. I'm going to buy more, right? Even if it's just as a hobby. It seems like everybody ends up with multiple printers eventually, so it's not like I can't buy a Prusa someday whenever I feel like the cost is more justified, right? Like right now I'm just sitting here with nothing, not wanting to make a super stupid decision. Spools go bad, not like bullets. Oh, yeah. That's a good point that I ran into. I had no idea. Like it dries out? Like the PLA dries out or something? You'll end up with a cabinet full. Get a 1 kilogram roll of PETG to play with as well. Is that a flexible one? Is PETG flexible? I haven't even got to... There's some PETG Plus. Combining the functionality of ABS, which you all can't even see my screen, so whatever. But here on Micro Center, they say that Filament has the reputation of combining the functionality of ABS, stronger, temperature resistant, more durable, and reliability of PLA, easy to print, in one material. The higher melt flow of PETG Plus permits higher speed 3D printing similar to that of PLA. PETG Plus exhibits excellent impact strength, which makes it ideal for printing components that need to absorb impact shock without fracture. Those all sound like positives. Oh, wow. Okay, number 40 fan mentions that I could probably make 40 sets of the pieces I showed in the last video with 1 roll of filament. Really? That's shocking. Like if you'd asked me, I would have thought, yeah, that's a spool right there. No doubt, all those little inserts and stuff. Second, the PETG to mess with at some point. Yeah, like, well, I could show my screen here. At least this Inland brand here, $23 versus I think $18 for the $19. So yeah, definitely not that much difference. Filament doesn't go bad, just needs to be dried out after a few months. PLA and PLA Plus doesn't really need to be dried at all. Oh, it needs to dry. I thought it dried out. Riley's printed some odds and ends for the last few months and still on your first roll of PLA. Lasts a good amount if you don't make your parts completely solid or if they don't need to be. That makes sense. Prusa versus Creality poll. Yeah, that was like 3 polls ago. Well, actually, what the current poll? We got 57% say the 3 and 43% say the 5. 44% now. I'm going to have to look closer at the 5s here. Is there a 5 that's updated with the features of the S1, I guess, is the first question that's popping in my head. PLA prints cleaner and easier? Gotcha. You have to pay to get files of stuff to print, or is it free? I think it's usually free. Like there's a whole site called Thingiverse with all sorts of cool stuff. Like that kit that I showed in yesterday's video is available to download and print off of that site. But I'm sure there are people out there selling designs, I would assume. It seems to be a general attitude of sharing throughout the community, I guess, as a person just entering. It seems like a lot's available to print. A lot of 3D gurus within my followers. Bet I didn't guess. No, there's basically anything we bring up, we've got a good segment of people that seem to know what's going on. But like I mentioned earlier, 3D printing just kind of it fits right in with the general attitude of the people in the reloading hobby, I think. Doesn't surprise me all that much. Okay. The filament attracts water. Gotcha. Store in dry place or with desiccant or keep in sealed bag. Gotcha. Borzak says maybe waiting a week or so would be a good idea. Really think about what you want, how you would use it, all that stuff, how many things you would make with it, and the time involved. Yeah, the waiting's over. That was kind of, if you remember, about a year ago, we went through this exact same thing, had a live stream almost exactly like this one over on Twitch. And at the time, I just couldn't quite justify the cost, right? I hadn't reached the point where I was ready to spend the money. So that's all different now. I'm ready to rock. It's time to get something done. I see what's on the market, and I just need to make a decision, you know? So many people try to say they have a patent on the circle shape. Yeah. Don't think the 5 needs any upgrades. Maybe the controller board. All right, I'll tell you what I need to do. Last poll. Let's see, 3 versus 5. Let's see if that brings up anything. Ender 5 versus Creality Ender 3 comparison and review. All right, let's look here real quick.
When it comes to racing, respect is earned the hard way.
Let's watch an ad. Two unskippable ones in a row. That's bull crap.
In today's episode, I'm going to look at the Ender 5. I'll compare it to the Ender 3, and then I'll give you my final thoughts on today's Filament Friday. This episode of Filament Friday is brought to you by these Patreon supporters. Full disclosure, this machine was sent to me by Creality, not from Banggood, GearBest, or some affiliate link. Creality sent me this machine because they wanted to get my opinion on the Ender 5. So that's what this video is all about. Now the price of this machine is more than an Ender 3. It retails for $319 at the Creality site, where this guy is like $179 at GearBest or Banggood, so even cheaper than you can get it on the Creality site. The retail price is actually cheaper than what they're selling at the affiliates, which is very interesting. The Ender 5 comes as a kit, similar to the Ender 3, but actually easier to assemble. It's got a top section and a bottom section already put together. And then the back section here with the 2 rods, that's also fully assembled. All you have to do is attach the bed to it. Now the bed took 4 screws, but there's actually slots for 6 screws. The manual said to only install 4, so that's what I did. I think in the future I may add those extra screws. The assembly itself took maybe...
Yeah, I keep muting because the feedback. I'm an idiot. But, what I was saying a minute ago was just looking at the age of this video. This is from April 26th of 2019. So, Hopefully this is still current stuff for the most part.
30 minutes. And it comes with a very good manual, step-by-step pictures and description to help guide you through it. It's probably the best manual I've seen Creality put out. Now, I did have a couple problems in the process of assembling this. They were really, really minor. But right here, there's a screw in the back here on both sides that would not line up. I could not shoot the screw in. Well, it turns out when this was assembled, it was not assembled flat, or at least it shifted during shipping. So I had to loosen the screw on both sides and then push everything down, and then these brackets lined up and I could put the screw in place. The big difference between these two printers is how they work. This one is closer to a Core XY. Now Core XY, which the Ender 4 was, has two permanent motors at the back and it controls everything through belts. Now the Ender 4 had like an H-bridge type setup, and so everything is controlled by those belts. Ender 5 has the motor on the side here, so it's really not a true Core XY printer. The idea with the belts is everything is lighter, so it can print faster, but with this motor here, you've now got weight, so it's not quite the same thing. The main difference between these two is the build area. Now the X and Y are the same between the two, but the Ender 5 has a taller build area. In fact, it's 300 millimeters tall, which is the same as my CR10 Mini back here.
I did it again. Yeah, I was just looking around at the... He mentioned the height there, which I already forgot.
As my CR10 Mini back here. So what does that give you? In fact, it's 300 millimeters tall, which is...
He said it was 300 millimeters tall, but whenever I go... So the S1 is 270 millimeters tall. But this 5 Plus says 400. So I don't, maybe he's not talking about the Plus. Maybe he's just talking about the regular Ender 5. Yep, that's exactly what he's doing. So apparently the Ender 5 Plus is taller. Trying to see if there was a 3 versus 5 Plus. And I guess there's a 5 Pro. Too many freaking models, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the newlyweds, Mr. and...
So it's been several months since I've done my unboxing and preview of the Ender 5 Plus, and when I did that review, I told you I would come back and do a full review of this printer so that I gave you my final thoughts on the total package here. Well, I've given the printer some time, and I've even given the community some time to give their feedback on this printer. And so in this video, I'm going to give you the full rundown of the Ender 5 Plus. I'm going to tell you what I found about it, what the community has found about it, and then I'm going to give you my final recommendation right here on Cozy Fabrications. Let's go. So first of all, let's talk about the specs of this printer. Obviously, the big appeal of the Ender 5 Plus is it's a bigger printer over the Ender 5 and, of course, the Ender 5 Plus. The print volume on this printer is going to be 350 by 350 by 400, which is a lot bigger than the 220 by 220 bed on the other printer. The total volume, like the amount of space this printer is going to take up, is going to be 632 by 666 by 619 millimeters. For people that use the English or Imperial system,
Hey, I actually remembered to unmute. Yeah, Andrew mentions that recommend the Ender 5 Pro with the Easy ABL for bed leveling. So let's see. All right, so if I do a 5 Pro, or let's see, that's the 5 Plus. Five Plus is $579. Let's see where the 5 Pro is. They don't have one, perhaps. Okay. Let's try the Ender website then. What build volume do I actually... I have no idea. I don't need much. I don't need anything big. Like somebody had mentioned... if I can get my fucking mouse. There it is. Yeah, so if somebody had mentioned like a case feeder... Like imagine a big bowl on like one of those big, gigantic, douchey case feeders hanging off the top of your press. Like something like that, I guess, is possible. But I can't imagine why I would really want one. Don't really have a press that needs one. And I could make something smaller and more reasonable. Plus, I guess the footprint of the actual unit itself. Just trying to... So, Ender 5 Pro is what I was looking... Okay, there's the Pro. Not to be confused with the frickin' Plus. Ender 3... Or, I'm sorry, Ender 5 Pro... Yeah, I'm just going to have to go back and look through, figure out which one's older than which one's the newest model, and which upgrades does it need, and how much would that be? And then once I calculate how much it is, plus how much the upgrades are, how much is the difference between that and a Prusa, when I probably should just spend $250 and get a Ender 3 V2. Or if I want to splurge, just get the S1. See if there's a Plus versus Pro video. There's one from Creality. It's only an hour and 15 minutes long. What are we even watching here?
Here we go.
Hello everyone,
Good morning, everyone.
this is Ben from Creality, and this is Eli. Yeah.
Oh my God, who would watch such a garbage live stream?
Do you know where at?
No, yeah, I'm just not. That's probably not what we're looking for here, is it? Trying to see if they give any. Okay. Larger prints can be done in sections and glued together. Splurge on the S1. don't think I'll look back and regret it. Riley says, exactly, the Ender 5 Pro is so close to the Prusa, why not go that route, get a V2 and be done. After you get good with that, then you can look into the big boy money printers. That might be the way to go, man. Just made your ears bleed. Yeah, sorry about that. Hey, at least I'm not muted myself. Don't judge you. I was just joking, man. You're watching a garbage live stream make fun of another garbage live stream. I thought that was funny. Making this decision is like clothes shopping with the wife. Get on with it. Yeah. I think what I'll probably do, I need to go to the big city. So maybe there's some value in that. Maybe I go and actually look at some of these things. I'm sure Micro Center has some displays. Maybe that'll help, but maybe not. The S1 is new and doesn't have any aftermarket firmware support, so I'd be wary about it currently. Well, the S1 is new and has their totally new nozzle design that gets rid of all the bitching everybody's doing about nozzles, and it's got the auto leveling, which gets rid of all the bitching everybody does about leveling, and it's got everything else. It's got all of the upgrades already there. So, and it seems to be. I probably should watch some more. I haven't really seen anybody say negative things about it. There was one review I watched where the guy put it into some special mode. Oh, it was a recovery mode after power failure, and it drove into the bed. Kind of went crazy, but that was the only problem he ran into with it, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Hey, thanks, Thorzax. Backyard Inventor makes bullet feeders. I'll have to check those out. Yeah, maybe I should just be a blacksmith and make everything out of metal. All this plastic garbage. Just junk. Real men work with metal. Number 40 says he doesn't need another printer, but he'll buy my S1 if I don't like it. Yeah, Micro Center in Columbus has a lot of printers on display to look at. Yep, that might be the way to go. Just maybe standing in front of them will make more sense. The S1 Pro will have an all-metal setup that can print 300C. Yeah, that's the... Yeah, and it hasn't been released yet, right? It looked like that was going to be that other video I had up earlier. They were showing that, I guess they call it the print head or the nozzle, the hot end, whatever they call that, is all metal. There's one on their site that's all metal. I don't know. Check out Taz or Ultimaker if I think $750 is too much. Dude, I bet there's industrial, like, they 3D print houses now, right? If you think a Taz or an Ultimaker is expensive, check out a house printer. Got to recalibrate them every time you get new concrete or something. Yeah, screw it. Build a potato cannon. Spike says V2 is a proven product. Never done an upgrade that you didn't print yourself. Just saying, $450 can purchase a lot of new reloading gear that just came out versus cost of just shipping what you need printed. That's no fun. I don't want to rely on people. I don't want to rely on the generosity of others. And I can't work with anybody who's in the industry whatsoever. So that would knock out yourself completely and a lot of others. So, I'm basically begging for people to print something for me, and then if there's a problem, or maybe like the problem I ran into, the clearance issue, maybe I could have whipped something up real quick on my own to fix the issue. I want a printer, but I don't want to necessarily go ridiculous. And it seems like a hell of a lot of people have success with these Ender printers, and yeah. Oh no, not the house printer discussion. Is there something controversial about house printing? Don't think I'll need to print that hot. You'd be looking at filament that would do stuff. Yeah, like there's all that exotic. I just want to do basic bitch stuff, like standard white boy 3D printing. It's about all I'm looking to do. Another vote for the potato cannon. Those probably aren't allowed on YouTube. Manufacturing a weapon or something. Right now, get my feet wet with the Ender 3 V2 with CR Touch and install Gyre's firmware. Ender 3 V2 is perfect for my needs. Yeah, so that's and the only argument against that I made earlier was to so if I do I guess at this price, I'll have to see if maybe I can find one cheaper than $259, but once I chuck on the extra $50, which there, yeah, the extra $50 for the BL Touch, then I'm over 300, and then $399 doesn't sound so bad for the S1 with the updated everything. Tough decision. Yeah, ComGrow. That's the site I was on earlier. I don't know if it was you. Somebody had mentioned that in the comments of the last video. Yeah, here it is. And there's refurbished ones for, I guess, different prices depending on which version they are. I don't know. That might not be a bad idea, but it could also be a little bit risky, I guess. All right, I've had it. See, I should have known this was going to be awful just from all the stream problems I had at the start. Which, speaking of that, sorry about those. But I think I've about had enough. Yeah, I think I've just about had enough. We'll call this one done for tonight. Appreciate you stopping by. I'm sorry we've made no progress. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to a micro center. And I'm going to stay in there in the aisle, which, if I happen to go to Columbus, they even tell you what aisle it's in. There it is, located in aisle 70. So maybe I'll head up to aisle 70 and just have a look around and see. But refurbished cheap printer sounds like inheriting someone else's problems. I would have to agree with that. Yeah, paralysis by analysis. Pick one and order. I feel like I'm at that point. Definitely feel like I'm at that point. So that's it for tonight, folks. Thanks for all the input. I really appreciate it.